everybody, welcome back to Bible Fun with the Duns. Today we're studying Joshua chapter number 4. Now where we left off yesterday was that the Israelites were preparing to cross over the Jordan River. And in chapter 4, that's kind of what the story's about. So John, recap it for us. Just hit the high points of what this is about.
So basically, the 12 groups, or the 12 tribes of Israel, they're told to gather 12 rocks. And so they get to the Jordan River and they're like, how are we going to cross? And then God, he parts the river into two to where there's dry dirt on the ground. And there are 12 rocks on the bottom of the ground, And they pick them up. One man picks up one rock, and till there are 12 men picking up 12 rocks, or 12 men picking up one rock.
One rock each, that's right.
And so they go over to the other side and stack all those rocks up. Because rocks, they don't just normally stack. Like, if you just saw two rocks stacked on top of each other in your driveway, you wouldn't think that just naturally occurred.
That's right.
So then they gathered 12 more rocks and stacked them in the middle of the Jordan, because that's the river they were crossing. And the Jordan's a big river, so once the waters came back in, it completely covered all the rocks. Like, the Jordan's pretty big.
Okay, but it's also dirty water.
Yeah.
So just FYI. So John, when we read through this story, what did you take away? So good things to ask ourselves when we read the Bible. What did I learn? What did it teach me? What do I have questions about? Or just kind of what did I notice? So John, what about you?
So I noticed that it said, you may stand at the mighty hand of God, or something similar to that. And so what this showed me is that I can be faithful with God and know that He can control anything. He can part the waters of any water. He can make a puny boy beat a big muscly giant, or He can make somebody survive a whole night in a lion's den.
That's right. That's right. So when we're reading through this story, we're talking about rocks, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me ask you this. When they stack those rocks up, they set them up so that later when their kids and their grandkids walked across and went, hey, what are all those rocks for? So that the parents could go, okay, well, let me remind you, when we came into the promised land, we had to cross this river, but we didn't use a bridge and we didn't use boats. God parted the river, dried it up so that we could walk across on dry ground. This is the same reason why in modern times we build statues. John, what do statues make us do?
They make us remember.
They make us remember. So these stones that are still there, so these stones that are in this story, they make us and they make them remember. Now, our question here was, are those rocks still there? And I would have to say, listen, this is like 1,500 years before Jesus, and Jesus is 2,000 years from us. So this is 3,500 years ago, maybe. And so this is a long time. Those rocks have probably been picked up since then, or apartments been built on them. We don't know that. But what we do know is that God dried up that river and the people went across on dry land. So this is a memorial. Now, can you think of anything we do as Christians that we do to remember anything that's important to us?
We read our Bible every day.
We do. But think about this. Do y'all, and what about you, Jax? Do you remember anything in our church that we do? And I always say, do this in remembrance of me.
Lord's Supper. The
Lord's Supper. So the Lord's Supper for us operates the same way, because what we would do in the Lord's Supper is I would take the juice and the cracker and I would explain what God did for us in the past, where Jesus had His body that was broken. And what does the juice represent?
His blood. His
blood, and that was shed for us. So memorials are really important. Here's what also I like. You remember those rocks that were put at the bottom of the river? So if the river was big and the river is muddy, it's muddy like the Leaf River, okay? So could they see those rocks down there?
No.
No. So they would have to accept and believe by faith that those rocks were down there. I like that when we go. And so these guys picked up these rocks in the middle of the river. Did you know they carried them 18 miles to go stack them up? And here's what it's all about. That the next generation has to be told about God, and they've got to be told about what he's done for his people. So listen, I'm telling you, God loved you so much that he sent his only son to die for you, that if you would believe in him, that you would not perish but have everlasting life. Mm-hmm. One day, you're going to tell your little boy that. And today, you got to decide who you're going to tell. We don't have to go pick up rocks, but we do have to tell about the cross and the empty tomb. So let's remember that. Let's use our good brains and remember what God's done for us. We'll see you soon. Bye.